Academy in Westford, Massachusetts. The Massachusetts Meet of Champions winner last year outdoors at 800 meters went on to finish third at New Balance Outdoor Nationals. So we start to see some of these athletes at the highest level of the high school level of the sport looking for opportunities to race all over the country, and she had that opportunity here today and comes away the winner in the second of 3,000 meters, and that gets us to our final section, our top section of athletes. Going to make a bold prediction that we're not going to see another Dempsey record in the women's 3,000 today, because that's held by Sifan Hassan, who ran 8:34.45 here back in 2018. Taryn Parks is going to emerge as our pace setter in this final race as we look at the rest of the field. Kayla Nygum, Honey Thompson, Anna Connor, Julia Flynn, Anna Hightower, Maddie Whitman, Katarina Smeljanek, Ava Crenady, Sophia Rodriguez, another talented high schooler running unattached today, Jacqueline Holman, Madeline Ibergen, and Caroline Jepcareer of Washington State, but already Parks getting away from the field in the early going of Section 3, and that's the risk that happens sometimes where the field decides not to go with the pace setter in the early going. Nygum leading that group behind. And Parks going to just stay on that pace in the early going. Lights on the track are set to 73 seconds per 400 meters. And Parks can see the separation now as this field has decided not to go with her in the early going. We do have a change behind her as Crenady of Northwestern. Again, we said that there's a small contingent of Northwestern athletes. We're seeing them for the very first time here in this 3,000. And Crenady is the one leading that group behind the pace setter Parks. Madeline Ibergen of UVic is third in that pack behind Anna Connor of Pacific Athletics. And we get a invitation from Crenady to Anna Connor. If you would like to go past me, you are more than welcome to. A little bit of conversation going on in this trailing group right now. But Parks doing what she was asked to do, pace this group. And maybe they're starting to gather a little bit of ground, but still a pretty sizable delta between the pace setter and the rest of the field. Now 3 minutes elapsed into this final section of the women's 3,000. As we will have two sections of men's 3,000s to follow before the 4x4s close out the day. Parks carries them through 800 meters in 2:26.2 as we wait for the 1,200 meter split. And that now is confirmed at 3:39.5. So it remains Parks and Crenady. Ibergen Victoria now in third overall. A little bit of traffic and some minor roller derby shoving and pushing in that group. Everyone looking for room, perhaps at that inside rail. We saw Julia Flynn of Stanford try to get herself back or maybe out of that rail position as she's moved up a little bit and running out in lane 2 on this straightaway portion of the race as we're now closing in on halfway. 5 laps to run in this final section of the women's 3,000 meters. 9:15.79 is the time to beat. Sofia Rodriguez now falling off the back of this lead group. So too is Caroline Jepcareer of Washington State. So a little game of attrition now at 3,000 meters with the men coming out now to do their stride outs. And we're back to the front of the pack that is behind the pace setter Parks. And it's Ibergen. She looks over her shoulder. I'm not sure she wants to race at the front for the remainder here, but 4 laps to go as we now focus our attention on the athletes who are competing through to the full 3,000 meter distance. And Ibergen is that leader as they move to the backstretch, nearing 6 minutes elapsed. Katarina Smiljanic, representing her home nation of Croatia, moving up into about 4th position. We see Julia Flynn moving up to 5th. 4:51.8 at 1,600 meters for the leaders. Hannah Hightower of Northwestern, now the top Northwestern athlete, as there's 2 of them in the top 6. About 6.5 minutes elapsed and 3 laps to run in Dempsey for this final 3,000 meters. Fastest time so far by Abigail Hennessy, 9:15.79 in section 2. But things began to string out. .6:14.3 was the 2K split. Got a couple of Stanford athletes in that top grouping, along with the pair from Northwestern, all led by the Canadian Madeline Ibergen from UVic. As we're down now to 5 in this lead group. Five becoming 4 here quickly, as Smiljanic is not showing the turnover that's required to stay in this race, as the quartet now up in front, led by Ibergen. Hannah Thompson of Stanford laying in wait in second, Hightower of Northwestern third, and then back to Julia Flynn of Stanford trying to hold on in that 4th position, but you can just see that gap starting to open up between 3rd and 4th position. Let's see what Flynn can do coming off the final turn to try to hold on in this race as they're coming to the bell lap. And Ibergen of UVic has the lead, now starting to turn over a little quicker as well. 1 lap to go, and she's opened up a little bit of a lead. Ibergen with that low arm carry, but now beginning to turn over just a little bit. Looks and maybe trying to sense whether she's got anybody closing in on her. Hightower's going to be in a battle here with Thompson now for what looks like will be second, as Ibergen begins to open up the legs and the stride and will get herself in a position now to carry herself home. See, the coaches On the inside, also cheering her to the finish line. It's been a good day for Uvik as well, as they'll pick up a win in this final race for the women individually at the Dempsey. Madeline Ibergen of Victoria, 9:08.90, as she'll take the victory in the women's 3,000 meters.
Well, Paul, the senior just looked so confident. Really, when the Pacers stepped off, Maddie Ibergen just looked good the whole entire time from Kincardine, Ontario. She comes away with the victory here. But, you know, you think about some of the athletes that she's running against, and that's a big win for Victoria. You talk about some of the bus rides home, some of the flights home, and that's going to be a happy one for the Viking.
When we talk about the transfer portal in the U.S., Madeline Ibergen competed last year for Windsor of Ontario, won the U Sports 3,000 meter championship indoors with a time of 9:20.72, and runs faster here at the Dempsey in her new kit on the other side of the country. And in impressive fashion, will leave the Dempsey Indoor as the 3,000 meter champion at the UW